This car is not street legal. You can't even take it to Tesco for a pint of milk. We're talking about 10 supercars so rare, so desirable, that even the wealthiest petrol heads can only dream of owning them. Forget your Bugattis and your Ferraris, these machines are on another level. They're the automotive equivalent of finding a first edition of Shakespeare signed by the bard himself, while he's simultaneously juggling the entire cast of Hamlet made of solid gold. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey to drool over some of the most exclusive metal ever to grace tarmac. And remember, if you ever see one of these beasts in the wild, consider yourself truly blessed. First up, we have a car so exclusive it makes Fort Knox look like a public park. This, my friends, is the Ferrari FXK, a track-only weapon designed to make even the most seasoned racing driver weak at the knees. Now, you might think a cool couple of million would get you behind the wheel of this Italian stallion, but you'd be wrong. You see, Ferrari doesn't just sell you the FXK, they grant you access to a very, very exclusive club. Think of it like this. You're not buying a car, you're buying a ticket to a never-ending party where the only guests are multi-millionaires, and the main attraction is a 1,035 horsepower hybrid hypercar that sounds like the apocalypse having a good time. And the worst part? You only get to drive it when Ferrari says you can. Still wouldn't say no, would you? Next, we travel from the manicured lawns of Maranello to the equally manicured lawns of Sant'Agata Bolognese, home of Lamborghini. And this, dear viewers, is the Lamborghini Veneno. Built to celebrate Lamborghini's 50th anniversary, this car is about as subtle as a chainsaw in a library. Just look at it. It's like someone took a perfectly normal Aventador and injected it with a lethal dose of crazy. Only 3 were made, each costing an eye-watering €3 million. And before you ask, yes, they were all sold before the first car even left the factory. So unless you happen to be best mates with the Sultan of Brunei, you're going to have to settle for a poster of this beast on your bedroom wall. Now, if you thought the Veneno was exclusive, wait till you hear about this. This, my friends, is the Bugatti La Voiture Noire, a car so exclusive it makes the Queen of England look like a commoner. This one-off masterpiece, a tribute to the legendary Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic, was sold to a mystery buyer for a staggering $18.7 million before the world even knew it existed. Some say it was Cristiano Ronaldo, others whisper it was a Saudi prince. Whoever the lucky owner is, one thing's for sure, they've got more money than sense. Still, it's a Bugatti, so it's bound to be good, right? From the land of fine wine and even finer automobiles, we bring you the McLaren P1 GTR. This, my friends, is what happens when McLaren decides to take a perfectly good hypercar, the P1, and turn it into a track day weapon. And when I say track day weapon, I mean it. This car is not street legal. You can't even take it to Tesco for a pint of milk. Unless you live at Silverstone, that is. But here's the kicker. You could only buy one if you already owned a regular McLaren P1. Talk about a first world problem. Next up, we have a car that's the result of a love affair between Aston Martin and Red Bull Racing. The Aston Martin Valkyrie, a car so extreme it makes a Formula One car look like a family hatchback. This, my friends, is what happens when you let Adrian Newey, the genius behind countless Red Bull F1 championships, loose in a design studio with a blank check. The result? A car that produces more downforce than its own weight, which is frankly ridiculous. And with only 150 being built, all of which were sold, before you could say Adrian Newey, the Valkyrie is about as attainable as a pet unicorn. Now, prepare to be amazed by the Pagani HRA BC, a car so beautiful it could bring a tear to a glass eye. This, my friends, is what happens when a small Italian company with a passion for perfection decides to build a hypercar. The HRA BC is named after Benny Caiola, a close friend of Horatio Pagani and the first person to ever buy a Pagani. It's a fitting tribute, as this car is all about passion, craftsmanship and exclusivity. Only 20 were ever made, and they were all snapped up faster than you can say carbon fibre monocoque. Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get very Swedish and very, very fast. This is the Keg Jesco, a car named after Christian von Koenigsegg's father, and a car that's about as subtle as a Viking raid. With 1,600 horsepower on tap and a theoretical top speed north of 300 miles per hour, the Jesco is gunning for the title of the fastest production car in the world. But here's the catch. Only 125 will ever be built, and they were all sold out within days of the car's unveiling. So unless you've got a spare $3 million and a direct line to Mr. von Koenigsegg himself, you're out of luck. Now we come to a car that needs no introduction. A car so legendary, it's mentioned in hushed tones in the hallowed halls of motorsport. This, my friends, is the Porsche 911 GT1. Built to compete in the GT1 class at Le Mans, the 911 GT1 is a homologation special, which means Porsche had to build a certain number of road-going versions to satisfy the racing regulations. Only 25 were ever made, and they're now scattered across the globe in private collections, locked away like the precious jewels they are. From the land of pasta and Pavarotti, we bring you the Maserati MC12. This, my friends, is what happens when Ferrari decides to build a Maserati. Yes, you heard that right. The MC12 is based on the Ferrari Enzo, but with a completely different body and a slightly detuned engine. Only 50 were ever made, and they were all sold to a select group of Maserati's most loyal customers. So unless you're on a first-name basis with the Agnelli family, you can kiss your chances of owning an MC12 goodbye. Last but not least, we have a car that's about as German as a bratwurst and sauerkraut sandwich. This, my friends, is the Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR. Built to compete in the FIA GT Championship, the CLK GTR is another homologation special, which means Mercedes had to build a handful of road cars to satisfy the rule book. Only 25 were ever let loose on the public, and they're now rarer than hen's teeth. If you ever see one in the wild, do let us know, because we'd love to hear about it. So there you have it, folks. 10 supercars so exclusive, so rare, that they're practically mythical creatures. But that's part of the appeal, isn't it? The thrill of the chase, the knowledge that you'll probably never, ever own one. But hey, a petrolhead can dream, can't he? Just imagine yourself behind the wheel of one of these beauties, the engine roaring, the wind in your hair, the envious stares of everyone you pass. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more exclusive content. Let us know in the comments which supercar you'd love to see in your garage.